Leck Lecka, go out. God's trumpet call presence, understanding Parsha Lech Lecha. Genesis chapter 12 verse 1 to chapter 17 verse 27. Aliyah 1 to Aliyah 7. Go forth. Parsha Lech Lecha is the third Torah portion of the 54 Torah portions of the annual Torah reading schedule, and third Torah portion in the first book of the Torah, the book of Genesis. The Torah portion begins with the verse, Now Adonai said to Abram, Get yourself out of your country, away from your kinsmen, and away from your father's house, and go to the land that I will show you. Genesis chapter 12 verse 1. The name of the Torah portion is taken from the word Leck Lecka, which means go forth or go out. Adonai already revealed himself to Abram when he was called in Ur, Kasdim. Adonai commanded Abram to go forth from his country, from his father's house. With the calling came a great promise. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you are to be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, but I will curse anyone who curses you. By you, all the families of the earth will be blessed. Abram's blessing, a nation. Word goy meaning any Gentile nation other than Israel. It refers also to a person from Gentile nations. You will be a blessing. Abram was chosen to be a channel of blessing for all people on earth. I will bless you. Abram became the focal point of all other nations. Prosperity of all depends on how they treat the descendants of Abraham, the Jew. Whoever curses you, the promise of the blessing to those that bless Israel is in plural form. It is evident that those who have treated the Jewish people well are successful, and those mistreated the Jews had to suffer negative consequences. All people on earth will be blessed through you. It can be reworded as, all people on earth will be grafted unto you. Romans chapter 11 verse 17 to 18 states that, But if some of the branches were broken off, and you, a wild olive, were grafted in among them, and have become equal shares in rich root of the olive tree, then don't boast as if you were better than the branches. However, if you do boast, remember that you are not supporting the root. The root is supporting you. Families. Here the word used as mishpah, and it refers to a large family or relatives. All the ends of the earth will remember and turn to Hashem, and all the families of the nations will bow down before him. In Acts chapter 7, verse 2 to 4, Stephen said, Brothers and fathers, listen to me. The God of glory appeared to Abraham in Mesopotamia before he lived in Haran and said to him, Leave your land and your family and go into the land that I will show you. So he left the land of the Kasdim and lived in Haran. After his father died, God made him move to this land where you are living now. Acts chapter 17 verse 2b to 4. According to this page, Abram received his calling when he was living in the land where he was born. At the time of revelation, the place was not revealed. Adonai only said, Go to the land that I will show you. Abram began his journey by faith, and in his journey of faith he was exposed to 10 great trials. Terah failed in coming to Canaan, but from Haran, Abram proceeded towards Canaan. But his nephew Lot accompanies him, whose name means veil or covering. He did create many problems for Abram. In Isaiah chapter 29 verse 22 it states, "Therefore hear are words of Adonai, who redeemed Abram concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob will no longer be ashamed, no longer will his face grow pale." According to this verse, Adonai redeemed Abram. The Hebrew word that is translated as redeemed is pada, which means pay a ransom, release, reclaim, or rescue. Abram's journey. Abram passed through the land to the place called Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. Adonai appeared to Abram and said, "To your descendants I will give you this land." So he built an altar there to Adonai, who had appeared to him. Shechem became a place where Abraham and his descendants made important decisions. Shechem was also chosen as a city of refuge. It also became the place for Joseph's grave. Shechem means ridge, neck, shoulder, and back. This also means bending to pick up a burden on the back. This reminds us Yeshua HaMashiach Messiah bent and lifted the cross after falling 3 times on the way to Calvary. Yeshua brought deliverance to all Abraham's children. Moreh also means teacher. It is also the same root word that is found in the word Torah. Torah reveals the difference between the sacred and common, between truth and lies, between light and darkness, and between life and death. Adonai taught Abraham the commandments, as is stated in Genesis chapter 26 verse 5. All this is because Abraham heeded what I said and did what I told him to do. He followed my mitzvot and regulations and my teachings. Genesis chapter 26 verse 5. Moreh represents the Messiah, Yeshua, our great Rabbi. He taught, "Don't think that I have come to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I have come not to abolish but to complete." Yes, indeed, I tell you that until heaven and earth passes away, not so much as a yud or a stroke will pass from the Torah, not until everything that must happen has happened. So whoever disobeys the least of these mitzvot and teaches others to do so will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys them and so teaches will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness is far greater than that of the Torah teachers and Prushim, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 to 20. Abram leaves Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his brother's son Lot, and all their possessions, people they had acquired in Haran. They set out towards the land of Canaan and later entered the land of Canaan. By trusting, Abram obeyed. After being called to go out to a place which God would give him as a possession. Indeed, he went out without knowing where he was going. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 8. Bethel. Abraham came back from Egypt to the place where he first called on the name of Adonai. After leaving Mesopotamia as God commanded him, Abram proclaimed the name of the Eternal in Bethel. After returning from Egypt, he proclaimed the name of Adonai once again in the same place. Bethel was transformed into a place of monotheism. Bethel was transformed against the false gods of Babylon and Egypt. Great revelation. When Abram finally separated himself from his father's family, there came a great revelation. Adonai said to Abram, after Lot had moved away from him, "Look all around you from where you are, to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. All the land you see I will give you and and to your descendants forever. Adonai also said, and I will make your descendants as numerous as the specks of dust on the earth, so that if a person can count the specks of dust on the earth, then your descendants can be counted. Get up and walk through the length and breadth of the land, because I will give it to you. Genesis chapter 13, verse 16 to 17. Abraham came to dwell in the terebinth of Mamre, which is Hebron. He built an altar there. In Hebron, Abraham built his third altar. It is believed that Adam and Eva was buried there. The patriarchs were later buried there. Adonai will resurrect them one day and they will be united with the Messiah. Blessing on Abraham. In the battle that took place in the Siddim Valley between 4 kings against another 5 kings, victors took possession of Sodom and Gomorrah, and they took Lot too, since he was living in Sodom. When Abram heard about it, he took with him his trained 318 men and recovered all goods, and brought back his nephew Lot, other people, and wealth. King of Sodom went out to meet him in the Shaveh Valley, also known as King's Valley. Melchizedek of Salem brought out bread and wine. He was Kohen of El Elyon, God Most High. So he blessed him with these words, Blessed be Abram by El Elyon, maker of heaven and earth. And blessed be El Elyon, who handed your enemies over to you. Abram gave him a tenth of everything. Genesis chapter 14, verse 19 to 20. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 7 says, It is beyond all dispute that the one who blesses has higher status than the one who receives the blessing. Talmud teaches that since Shem blessed Abram before he blessed the Creator, the Eternal did not bring forth the Levite priesthood from him, but from Abram. Adonai confirmed once again that Abraham's reward will be very great. But the word of Adonai came to him, This man will not be your heir. No, your heir will be a child from your own body. Then he brought him outside and said, Look up at the sky and count the stars. If you can count them, your descendants will be that many. Genesis chapter 15, verse 4 and 5. In verse 4 it states, He believed in Adonai and he credited it to him as righteousness. Adonai's covenant with Abram. Then he said to him, I am Adonai who brought you out from Kasdim to give you this land as your possession. He replied, Adonai God, how am I to know that I will possess it? Genesis chapter 15, verse 7 to 8. Adonai promised and confirmed the land to possess by making a covenant with Abraham. In verse 9 we read, He answered him, Bring me a 3-year-old cow, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a dove, and a young pigeon. Rabbis understand this text in 2 ways. Rambam says that it is a question of 3 different animals which are all 3 years old. Rashi says that it is a question of 3 of each type of animal. A Midrash says the reason that Abram sought a sign was that he was afraid that his descendants would sin, so that Hashem would not allow them to continue to live in the consecrated land. Hashem assured that even if they sin, I have prepared a way for them to be forgiven through sacrifices. Then he showed Abram how the future sacrifices would be, putting in order 3 heifers, 3 goats, and 3 rams, 1 turtle dove, and 1 young dove, which would represent different sacrifices. Rashi says 3 heifers speak of 3 young bulls. 3 young bulls that would be sacrificed on the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. The young bull from the congregation on account of some unknown sin. that the Sanhedrin had committed, and the heifer whose neck is crushed. 3 goats speak of the goat that is used for ministry in the inner place, the goat that are used as extra sacrifices at the feast, and the goat that was given as a sin offering for the individual. 3 rams speaks of the guilt offering for conscious sin, the sacrifice for questionable sin, and of the lamb that is sacrificed for individual sin. The young dove is the young of the turtle dove. Ancient way of entering a covenant was to place animals that have been cut in half opposite each other, and persons entering into the covenant walk together between the pieces of the animals. The covenant confirmed the duration that Abram's descendants would inherit the land. Genesis chapter 15 verse 13. That day Adonai made a covenant with Abram. I have given this land to your descendants, from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates River. Adonai's covenant with Abraham. I'm establishing my covenant between me and you, along with your descendants after you, generation after generation, as an everlasting covenant to be God for you and for your descendants after you. Genesis chapter 17 verse 7. Here is my covenant which you are to keep between me and you, along with your descendants after you. Every male among you is to be circumcised. Genesis chapter 17 verse 10. The circumcision is the sign of the following: the covenant between God and Abraham and his descendants, the justification by faith that Abraham had as circumcised, the heir, the Messiah, that would be born in this people, a deeper circumcision in the heart, a new creation without sin, beginning from the 8th millennia. Leviticus chapter 12 verse 3, Galatians chapter 6 verse 15. Please share this video. Remember to like it and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.